Why not? Let's go for it, because otherwise I'm going to be using too much time. Let's see. Let's see who's up today. Audience will see it in a moment. And here we are. This is actually live. I'm looking to see who shows up. It's only for about maybe an hour or so, so I wouldn't be surprised if nobody showed up, because it's like, oh, okay, it is what it is. It's Philip, and he's got his crazy hair, and he's wearing a gray shirt. Lord knows what's going to happen now. He's like a wild man. There's no telling what he's going to do next, because he's wearing a gray shirt. Everybody be careful. Those crazy hair and those weird droopy eyes. And the voices. Always the voices. The voices. I guess it's kind of weird. Because, like, I will do a stream late night. And nobody will be around. And then I will do a stream... like early in the day, because I'm like, okay, hey, more people are awake during the day, and then at that point everybody's awake at the night. But whenever I do them at nighttime, then everybody's awake during the day, and it's like, it's like one of those, like, cue the Benny Hill music, you know, running back the doors, over through the doors and the different pathways and so on. Cue the Benny Hill music. But I mean, it is what it is. So yeah, got all kinds of interesting stuff going on today. Apparently, Mortal Kombat's had a... well, not Mortal Kombat, it was the... the DC game. Injustice 2. It was Injustice 2. And they had a bit of controversy. Because nobody liked that Raiden was put in there because too many Mortal Kombat characters... which I think it's basically just him and Sub-Zero. But, despite having a full roster, 2 characters is way too many. Unless I've missed any new ones. Oh, hey, Eva! Good to see ya. Still sick? I am sorry to hear that. I really am sorry to hear that. I hope you only feel better. So, the interesting thing about this is how quickly it changed, and why. Because lately, a lot of popular media is on a big pandering kick. Like, the doctor's suddenly a woman because, hey, we're trying to appease feminists. And they make no bare bones about it. They fired one dude simply because he was white. The BBC did this. They fired one dude just because he was white. Radio show host. And the lady that's going to be playing the doctor is turning around and saying, basically, to not be afraid of her because of her gender. I mean, you want to talk about ego and arrogance. We ain't afraid of you. It ain't because of your gender, it's because you're browbeating us over the head with more stupid shit. I mean, apparently DC never learned from this. Apparently Marvel never learned from this. Or you didn't learn from their mistakes. So now, you know, BBC has to keep on going down that road, and, well... it sucks to be a Doctor Who fan unless you're a social justice warrior. Oh wait, they're not fans of anything. But what that has to do with this? They did a they created a new skin for Raiden called Black Lightning. That's right. And he's got the fist, man, because Black Lives Matter. And all of a sudden everybody loved it, not because there was any playability, not because there was anything one way or another, but because, hey, it's a black person. I mean, what the hell? Gee, that's not racist. Hey man, I hated playing the Black Panther, but they made him a white guy, so now he's cool. If that statement sounds racist to you, which, quite frankly, to me it does. It does sounds really racist, and it sounds really, really fucked up. Because the Black Panther is cool, regardless of, you know, whatever. But just would not work as a white guy. just part of his character. If they suddenly made Storm a white lady, no, don't change that character around. Leave her alone. Makes sense. But now we instead of whitewashing, it's blackwashing. But it's okay because they're doing it. In fact, you actually look through the comments on that, and they are just beyond disgusting. It's these people that just never got it through their heads that being the one to do it does not make you right. It doesn't make your version right, it makes it just as wrong. It's bad no matter who does it, folks. Racism is bad, period. That's it. If you're a black person, if you're a white person, if you're Mexican, if you're Asian, it doesn't change just because you're not white. And even certain things just blow my mind, like safe spaces. White-free safe spaces. Because that's not segregation. I mean, we can tear down Confederate statues because racism. But then we practice stuff like safe spaces, which is basically segregation under a new flavor, and that's okay. Or they talk about dealing with the white ISIS. Funny, because ISIS is the one that's taking down statues and scrubbing things that they claim that they don't like. Or colored person, which is racist, versus person of color, which is basically the exact same thing, except you've just reversed the words around and put an "of" in the middle. Same stuff, folks. It doesn't change just because a person that ain't white says it. It just gets really old. All the pandering, all this bullshit. And to see this, it's like I look at these people that are saying these things, that are apologists for this, that are dealing with this, or the white guilt stuff on top of that, because apparently that's never going to get old. Hey, Reality Check, how you doing today? And these people will never stop racism. You can't stop it when you're creating it. You can't stop it when you're making excuses for you doing the same shit. It's that's never going to change. That is not going to change. Well, those kind of people are not going to change things. The people that get sick of their shit, they're the ones that are going to change stuff. Because they look at things and they go, okay, we don't need to tear down a statue to know that this is bad. And I'm sorry, but this whole diversity stuff, again, racism, prejudice in another flavor. It is. It really is. That's the Cassandra truth that people don't want to hear, but let's just say, okay, prejudice. Singling somebody out because of race, sex, etc. Age was another one. What does diversity do? Oh, we have to change this around on the purpose of race, gender, or age. We have to even this out, and we're going to do this by chopping all these other people away that are not of the specific race, gender, or age. Rather than everybody rising equally, nope, we're going to chop out all these people because we're doing it to lift these people up, really. But it's not prejudice of a different flavor. No, it's not the shoe on the other foot being just as bad. No! Why would we ever think that, except it's the same bloody thing by basic definition? And if that's flipping your mind because it's a white dude that's saying it, quite frankly, I'm actually a little pink. I think the closest I get to white is the glow from the screen. And honestly, I just don't care about that bullshit other than the fact of that it is bullshit. That and I have a hard time with willfully stupid people that just want an excuse to be an ass to somebody else. I am actually doing all right. There's been all kinds of nonsense over here. All kinds of nonsense. Guys, if you're ever like looking into a landlord situation, be sure of your landlord's sanity before you go signing that lease. Not all that glitters is gold. They may look nice and they may call themselves like a good Christian and stuff, but if your gut feeling says this person is whack, do yourself a favor. Don't sign that paper. Move along. Anybody looking over in the basic info in that will see that I actually added some little links in there. I've got my Discord on there, and I've got 2 other links for a, I'm going to say for a Patreon and for a GoFundMe. Without really getting into the situation, if you click the link, you'll understand everything. That's all I got to say. You will understand everything, because I know some people are going to hear that and go, wait, what? He's got a GoFundMe and a Patreon? What's going on? What is this? This isn't about face. This is a sudden change. This is a change that kind of, makes me a little nervous. Why is Philip suddenly doing this? But all I'm going to say is, click the link. You will understand everything, I assure you. And you can click on the Discord too if you want. There's no ifs, ands, or buts with that. There's nothing one way or the other. So, and I will leave it live too, because I can just imagine the conflicts I'm going to get. I know the Spurgs are going to come out in full force. They're going to be like, Phyllis announced a Patreon. Oh my God! Philip has announced a GoFundMe. Oh my God! Man the battle stations. We must dislike his all of his videos. We must like blatantly hammer his comments. But the real question is, are they going to click the link? And like I said, if you do, you'll understand everything. I try to put a smile on people's face where I can. Lots of people have all kinds of problems. They have all kinds of stuff going down. And if nothing else, I mean, gotta try and make somebody laugh, right? Make their day, you know, a little bit better than what it was. And hopefully that's the one thing that becomes the catalyst for, you know, making that just a little bit better of a day. Of course, there's no guarantee that it'll stay that way, but hey, you can try. I mean, you're talking to a guy that's so familiar with Murphy's Law that Murphy pretty much is sending these sympathy cards at this point, going, okay, you know what? I admit, that was just a little harsh on my part. Sorry, man. So, Murphy, you're gonna ease up a little bit, right? Yeah, well, I would, but, well, that's the thing. I've got, like, a reputation to uphold, and I really don't want to be seen as a softie. Alright, yeah, you know what, Murphy? Fuck you too, buddy. Fuck you too. You can take those comment cards and give yourself paper cuts with them. I am working on some different little designs, like I've stated, for different things. Like I've got an ideas for like a mock show. It should be like a half-hour long mock show. I've got oh, did you enjoy that, Eva? I figured you would enjoy that. I figured you would probably have a good idea as to why. As to my reasoning for that. Like I said, you click on that, you will understand everything. But, yeah, 30-minute program, roughly. And then, of course, I've got different t-shirt ideas, like For the Love of Mittens, Kittens, and Sunshine, Holy Majestic Screaming Eagle on a Pogo Stick, and Munchie Lovania, which involves hoodies. You can guess where that one's linked to. Oh, give me hell for a month, woman, and you will hear about it for a lifetime. She knows who I'm talking to. Because if you think that she ain't still watching these, yeah, right. Oh, I am totally leaving. Eva, I am totally leaving it up. You got you figured it out. Congratulations. Bravo. Bravo. Oh, and one of them that I'm going to be making, just because I believe it will allow people to finally wear warning labels and get away with it, is going to be Mental Section 8. That's going to be a t-shirt as well, Mental Section 8. Because at that point, they're going to be wearing warning labels. They're going to go, yeah, man, Mental Section 8. And I'm like, thank you for the warning. Yep, thank you so much for the warning. And you're proudly proclaiming it too? My work is done here, man. Yep, Eva, I know, I hoard out. I decided to finally to be a good little whore and put up a Patreon and a GoFundMe. That's all the rage these days. It doesn't matter if you're talking cat, hammering away on a keyboard, you have a Patreon and a GoFundMe and all that other stuff. Regardless of whether there's actually any content or not, you could be a guy sitting on the stream like this. And to do nothing but a video like that. And then underneath, I guarantee you, there's going to be like, support my Patreon, support my GoFundMe, send me more donations here, you can connect to my PayPal from here, and buy the merchandise of a random dude staring at a screen for hours on end. So now I'm being a good little whore and putting some very select links up to join the ranks of those whores and sell out. Life needs a safe word. You've got it, Eva. I've just got to design it. The one that I'm really trying to work on right now is the Munchie-Lovania, just because I was doing one of my morning walks and the idea hit me. I'm like, well, I could do some t-shirts, I guess. That would be funny. You know, just something not necessarily related, but just people would look at that and go, okay, that's funny. Like they would like open up their closet, look at the thing and laugh. And I'm like, well, what thing is everybody always dealing with lately? And then I'm like, hoodies came to mind, and then I'm like, Munchie-Lovania, you're gonna have a bad time, kid. I've said from the beginning that I have a weird way of thinking about things. Keep an eye on my time here, because I've only got like another hour before I have to be off this and on the phone. It is the light day of the work week. 1:30 to 10 today, and what is it? 11 to 10 the rest of the day. So that gives me a little bit of time to stream and have a good time. I've considered doing some more like early morning streams and such. If the hour stream things work out alright, I might actually go like the 4 to 5 range whenever I'm doing the my lunches and such, and I'll just have lunch, pull up a stream, and be like, hey guys, who wants to shoot the breeze? We can do that. We can do that. And I was on YouNow yesterday trying to catch up with folks, because many of the people that I see on there are in the UK, so they have earlier schedules and that. So I said, okay, you know, I'll go and do an earlier show and, you know, see if you know, see who's available. Not a bloody peep. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, the UK people have been on later, like much later, like when you used to go up on there. And I'm like, I switched gears so I could get on early and stream to say hey to those guys, and now they're on later and I'm on earlier. And I guarantee you, I go on earlier, or I go on later, then they're going to be back to earlier again. I just don't even know. It's weird. It's weird trying to. You know, Eva, I don't know. It really takes an unbalanced lady to wear a hoodie or sweats in the middle of summer. I agree. Maybe it's like it's not really a hoodie or a sweat. It's like one of those B movies, and it's like a parasitic infection. Oh God. Well, there goes my Parasites can't get parasites theory out the window. I know Elven Fae disproved that one, but that one would just be like just the smoking gun proof right there, wouldn't it? It's not really a hoodie, it's actually a parasite, and it's like latched into their brain. So like whenever the stream is off and she's like on Twitter, it's not like her fingers that are actually there, it's like the little hoodie cords when they're actually typing on the keyboard. Snakes! That damn fiber in my lupus, man. It takes all kinds of weird flavors, even Parasite. I just don't want to think about it laying eggs. That's why Rumi is never on camera. That is why Rumi is never on camera, because he's currently hung upside down from the ceiling in like some sort of egg sack that looks like plastered together old hoodies. Soon, very soon. Freaking bread queen, man. Makes me wonder how many of her spurgs she's already laid eggs in. That actually would explain a lot of things about old Richard Stiles. Laid a few eggs in his chest, maybe his forehead. He's got to use something for brains. And it ain't gray matter. I've read those comments. It ain't gray matter that he's using for brains. The wheel is spinning, but the hamster is dead, folks. Oh, yeah, there you go. Hold on, I gotta add that one. The wheel is spinning, but the hamster is dead. That's a t-shirt. Hey, man. Yeah, I know the eggs thing is funny, but then you gotta think about it. I've read those comments. That actually does make sense in a weird way. It would explain how so many intelligent people talk and comment like that. I can tell they're intelligent people. And it's like they took their gray matter out of their heads, they just stick it in a blender, puree it, and go, close enough, put it back in. Or they like freeze it, and like somebody would like freeze, like make popsicles, and they just stick the popsicle in the little core of their head, and they're like, I am okay now. I have the joy and the sparkles in my heart. Oh yeah, lots of bullshit too. But that's only because I eat lots of pizza because I can't eat salads. Really, who believes that shit? I can eat pizza and burgers 24/7 with all the grease and all the oil, because that's not gonna fuck you up. But I can't eat a salad because that's unhealthy. How? What in the wide, wide world of sports do you have to be on to believe that kind of shit? I can eat pizza and burgers, but I can't have a salad because a salad's unhealthy. See, people like that are the reason that I should be drinking, and I'm glad that I don't. Because I would have that shit on tap. There would be like 2 IVs in the side of my body. An Irishman would be like, dude, you gotta quit. You gotta lay off the booze because you're making us look bad. Stereotypes. Bad stereotypes, by the way. Not actual Irish people. I don't know enough about actual Irish people other than that really, really lame stereotype that I occasionally do to death. No, RC, there are reasons that there are no tornadoes on the East Coast. It's mainly because they use JSBS, they use old Fruit Loops as a windbreak. They just plop her happy ass down and it's like, nope. She was in Oklahoma during the time they had tornadoes. Not one of them came near her. Just saying. Between her substance and her ego, I'm not sure which one of them makes for a better windbreak. And just like it just goes. When your ego is so huge, tornadoes, it is used as a windbreak. I'm just saying. Like, in 5 years, she's gonna be, like, yelling at the producers for video games because she's going to be thinking that Shadow of the Colossus was snakes trying to slander her. I'm not saying she's a big girl, but I am saying her ego could use a little deflating. You thought I was going with weight, weren't you? I gotcha. Shadow of the Colossus. Telling you, with certain people, the jokes write themselves. You really thought I was going with weight? No, that's too easy. If that was any easier, it would be as promiscuous as she's been. But at least all those sit-ups would have given her some good exercise, right? I swear, with someone with all that marketing expertise, why don't they just put it all to work and actually market themselves out of conscience? You know, maybe do a little bit of middleman, get a couple of people together, take bits and pieces off their conscience, and put it together in a piecemeal, kind of like she does with all of her regular information, except in this time she'll actually develop a conscience, maybe even a little bit of a soul. I don't know. I'm just a guy, but, you know. I figure at that point maybe she can actually have something that will work for her rather than this script. I haven't seen a script that bad since the election, I'll put it that way. And that shit was terrible. No matter who you chose, that was just terrible. But that... Like, I understand competing with a lot of different things. I understand that when people get narcissistic, they tend to like to compete, but... do you really have to compete with Donald Trump's Twitter? Really? Trying to compete with Donald Trump's Twitter on one hand, with Hillary Clinton's charming, award-winning personality on the other hand, Bernie's ability to calculate historical data and facts, with a bit of Baron Munchausen. Put it all in a blender and add Chemical X. You don't wind up with the Powerpuff Girls, you wind up with, holy shit, Fruit Lupus. Like Godzilla takes one look at that, shakes his head, just keeps shaking his head, turn right around, and walks right back in the ocean. Tokyo is saved. You see that? One person really can make a difference. Because, like, right now, there are like half a dozen Spurgles that are listening to me do this whole spiel, and they're just, like, shaking their heads, and some of them are, like, raging so badly that they're just like, I can't take it anymore, and their heads just explode. And I'm sitting there going, I just freed up some real estate for some people. One person really can make a difference. I mean, between that and just regular comments in general, it's kind of interesting. 2016 was it was Looney Tunes without anything funny. Well, yeah, it's kind of hard to make videos when there's nothing to really present itself that they can use. Every attempt that they've made to start shit with somebody has backfired. And when one of the only people that really supports you that has credibility, even sideways, is Keem, it's pretty much a bad day for your credibility. It really is kind of a bad day for your credibility at that point. She tried to make war on all the wrong people, and it just backfired. What do you expect? You can only warn somebody so much before you sit back and go, okay, hold on. It's like, what was it, Christopher Titus's dad? Hold on. Wait for it. Zzz, zzz, zzz. Yeah, sticking your finger in that electric socket knocked your ass back about 50 feet, didn't it? Pretty dumb thing to do, huh? That's right. You're not gonna do that shit again now, will ya? But that's the difference between a little kid that hasn't matured and a 33-year-old woman that supposedly has and knows all this shit because she says it all the time. The little kid will slip their finger in the socket once, get knocked back and go, oh wow, that is so not a good thing, I don't want to do that anymore. She'll keep going back for more. She will keep tagging that like it is the last Twinkie at Fat Camp, man. Oh, that really does wonders for my fibromyalgia. I mean, it was watermelon flavored, but I think it's gone back to grape. Oh, nope, it's watermelon. I think it's going to fried chicken flavor now. I'm terminal. I see a light. I see sparkles. I finally see the sparkles in my namesake. I have ascended. I am beyond mortal beings. I have ascended. I see the sparkles. And then they promptly pass out, and then they get up and go, I'm so depressed. I came so close to being ascended. But I just don't know. I mean, I have been brought down to earth. Clearly my angels have told me that I have a higher purpose. I just don't remember any of it because it was too mind-blowing. Don't worry, I'll make 8 videos on it later with information to be released later, soon as I can figure out which version of the script I can use to bullshit you more this week. By the way, have I told you that I'm sick yet? I know I only beat you over the head with it 15 times a week, but I just wanted to get it out there that I'm sick so you keep it firmly established in your mind. Trust me, honey, we know. We know. Ray Charles can see it in you. And he's blind. But that's the difference between somebody like her and a kid. The kid will stop. She'll just be like, hold on, I need to stick my finger in deeper and see what happens. And the rest of us are like, that's fair. They're like, that's fair. And then she turns around afterwards, turns around with her stumpy, scorched finger. You did it. You all did it to me. You're all plotting against me. You're all out to get me. Like, I'm expecting her to, like, rip off a face mask, and at any point there's going to be, like, Onision under there going, ha 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 ha. I tell you what, man. It's really that freaking whacked out. They stick the finger in deep, fry themselves, like, to the freaking bone, then turn around. You were all the ones doing it. Actually, last time I remembered, we were the ones telling you you're screwing yourself over. You need to back that bus up before you, like, drive it into the wood chipper. And you're like, no, I'm not going to hit the brakes. Let me hit the gas and see what happens with that. Lady, you whack. You hit the gas, you're... Well, you know what? Okay. You go do you. Then they drive into the wood chipper. Okay. My left arm is mangled in 15 places. My right looks like something like cream of wheat, sushi, and hash browns. My hair actually looks the best that it's been in years, so yay team. You'll want to support its perming on my Patreon, where I can charge you $50 for a one-time voicemail. But why didn't you guys tell me there was a problem? You let me just sit there and hit the gas and run right into that gigantic wood chipper. How could you do that to me? I thought we were friends. I did? We did try to tell you. No, you didn't, man. You just misconstrued what I was trying to do. No, pretty sure we saw that foot in the gas and said you don't want to do that. You were misconstruing the situation. You're a bloody loony. Alright, well, I'm going to go hit the gas again and see if it wasn't just a fluke. You know what? Go ahead. Run free like the wind, fly like a bird on the wind. You have fun with that. Okay, this is really starting to suck now. Why would you let me do that? I don't know. I guess I'm just a horrible person. Damn right, you're a horrible person. I'm gonna get my legions of fans that believe everything I say to say you're a horrible person too, because that's gonna somehow affect your day. Yes, because millions of people that I don't know will probably never meet and have already demonstrated that they have a thought process along the lines of faulty if-then, if-then, if-then. I'm really going to be eager to take into account what they have to say. I will listen to it, and then I'll probably categorize it while my inner laugh track is going along with the little clown car music, the little do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. This is usually what happens when I read the comments, by the way. I see that, and I every time I read one of these comments, it's like I hear the little do 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 in the background, and you hear that kind of like ozone smell in the air. I tell you what, man, I just don't even know. Keeping an eye on my time here. I saw moments in her live stream when she watched the comments in a live stream somewhere and people were lying about me. $50 says you were involved. You know, you might very well be right. Although it's hard to say because these days she's pissed off so many people, it's hard to really single out which person she's paranoid about this week. But, didn't you know? I'm always plotting against her with some secret consortium. She can never shut up about it. He's the catalyst! He is the catalyst! Or no, first it was half responsible, then it was the catalyst. And I did so much for this person. What really got me was the fact that she was turning around and saying stuff like that I was doxing friends and family, and I'm like, look, I absolutely despise my family, and I've never doxed them. You want to back that bus up and try that shit again? But people just, well, Joyce said it, so it must be true. Really? Really? Okay, let's put that to the case, to the test. If you believe in her so much, have her tell you what the winning lottery numbers are. Don't worry, I'll wait for it. Of course, if it actually does get through because I told you to do it, I get fucking half. Just saying. People don't realize how freaking ridiculous they sound when they defend this crazy person. But, you know, the only reason that many of them don't like me, and they come up with reasons not to, and it's funny to hear some of their reasons sometimes. He told me to stop acting like a child, so he's, what was it, condescending. No, it's called stop acting like a grown freaking child with a temper tantrum. Very simple. Not hard to understand. You want to call that being a jerk? Fine, I'll take it, I guess, but being a jerk to an asshole is not exactly something that I'm going to lose sleep over, quite frankly. Yeah, she has been pretty quiet. I mean, every once in a while you do have to let the hot air out of a balloon. When she couldn't stuff anymore, she went crazy on detractors. Yeah, that's true. It's probably not over before too long. The really thing that bothers me is when you look at the people that she's around and how unbalanced many of these folks are, who's going to be next? Who's going to be the next one? Because you know one of them's going to try and pick up where they left off in order to clear their savior's name, who's done so much for them by doing pretty much nothing at all. And actually, I've heard she's been back on You Now and saying all kinds of weird stuff. The brakes are definitely nice. the Britney video, yeah, that was really weird because I looked at that and I'm like, oh, holy peak on a holy majestic screaming eagle on a pogo stick. People like that. That's why the reason I'm holding my eye like this is because I get little migraines from time to time. Usually in this eye. And people like that tend to give me migraines. It's just, I guess it's just an allergic reaction to their bullshit. And I'm just rubbing this eye. This isn't a migraine here. It's this one that always gives me the migraine. But no. I have an idea. Since she hates my guts so much, better yet. And because of course I'm in it for I'm doing it for what? Relevance, attention, money that I didn't make off a situation. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of the excuses as to why I've been doing it this week. But I tell you what. Since she's got over at least 500,000 fans, if every one of them donated like what? $20? I'd be a millionaire. I wouldn't need YouTube or anything else anymore. I could go retire somewhere. You want to get rid of me that bad? Yeah, it's just very simple. One, stop talking shit. Although I can count on like I can count on Milli Vanilli singing and showing my age there. I could count on a Chrono Trigger sequel. Damn, that's also showing my age. Jeez. I could count on a Death Note movie that is actually good before I can count on that one, so I've just, that. Count on a lot of things. Or, alternatively, you can, like, you could give me an island out in the middle of nowhere where I could sit and be away from all of those crazies when they finally go Battle Royale meets the Purge. Because Lord knows it's coming. It's a-coming. It's gonna be a whopper. Like, I look at these people and I said, that's 500,000 fans or so that really, really do not give me hope in humanity. That's like the Purge right there. And this is just one person on the low scale. What does that say for the high rungs of things? If one person that's basically still a nobody, and that's coming from a nobody, mind you, from a YouTube nobody, because I am a YouTube nobody. That's just the cold, honest truth. That's probably nothing that's ever going to change. But, if that's what a YouTube nobody can do. Oh, no, it wasn't 500,000. It was 50,000. No? Was it 200, 500,000? No, it was 50,000. It was 50,000. Boy, wow. Well, there went that aspiration. I'm not keeping track of my numbers. I apologize. That was my fuck. It was 50,000, excuse me. 50,000, because she never hit 100,000, I don't think. I don't remember. Yeah, no, that never happened. Deadpooling myself there. Totally Deadpooling myself. I'm not jinxing the rest of the world with that shit. But, yeah, I mean, if y'all, that's if they can if one lunatic can amass that much of a following that will blindly go off the cliff with them, what does it say about the people that are in the top tier rungs that get away with more shit? Wow. I don't even remember. I remember it happening. I don't remember when it was. I remember when Kiss from a Rose was a thing. I remember Batman Beyond. There you go. Land Before Time. David the Gnome. Hell, I remember Rainbow Bright, the movie. I remember the old school Cartoon Express, Hanna-Barbera cartoons. I remember Mork and Mindy on Nick at Night. I am Eva. I am 3 years away from you. You are my senior by 3 years. I am 37. Also, happy upcoming birthday, because anything you can live through is still an occasion to celebrate. Oh, yeah, I was about 16 then? Yeah, because I was born in 80. I was born in 80. Hell, I remember the old McDonald's commercials where they used to go out dancing with Ronald in the snow. Or no, skating with Ronald in the snow. And he spins them around and stuff. Hell, I remember when they used to actually have like stuff that they would demonstrate, like the Happy Meals, like the little toys and stuff. I remember Beanie Babies. I remember I remember Mac Tonight with the little moon-faced guy that was playing on the piano. Yeah, I remember that. I remember when USA had Up All Night, and they had Gilbert Gottfried actually host one of those. I remember not the Technicolor War of the Worlds. I remember the 1990s spin-off TV series, which had 2 seasons for War of the Worlds. That was a thing. And I loved the first season. The second season was like, what the fuck happened here? I heard about that. He got sued. I heard about that. I remember, what is it, the Muppet Show. I remembered Unsolved Mysteries when it first came out with Robert Stark. Hell, I saw the first Unsolved Mysteries that came out with Robert Stark. Alf, I remember. I remember the sitcom Dinosaurs. Punky Brewster. Vaguely I remember that one. Captain N, the Game Master. Saturday morning cartoons. Which in the 80s, Saturday morning cartoons were the fucking bomb. Tales from the Dark Side! Yes! I loved that. Tales from the Dark Side, The Outer Limits, both the black and white version and the updated version. Monsters was another one that came out. Ray Bradbury Theater was another good one. The Twilight Zone, which they had the original and then they had the one that added to it, but I used to love the old black and white versions. What was it? Dark Side. Tales from the Dark Side freaked me the hell out, though. It did. Because Tales from the Dark Side, they had that intro and then everything changed. And it really, it was just so unsettling. It just, you couldn't help but get creeped out. It was great. Oh, Twilight Zone, I already said, yeah, Twilight Zone. Actually, there was one, they used to have these little intermissions, too, that were really freaky, really creepy. There was an old Ducktales one that I saw. I guess it was supposed to be like a PSA, public service announcement. And then it was like it was about where you should be careful about trying to fight off robbers. And it showed the Huey, Dewey, and Louie trying to fight the Beagle Boys. And what happened is something happened, and then all of a sudden it cut to black. And then a couple of bags of money dropped down on a black screen, and some feathers floated down, kind of to like give the impression that the Beagle Boys actually killed Huey, Dewey, and Louie trying to fight back. And it was, for a kid, that was something that was really, really creepy for me. It was super creepy. And this was a kid's PSA. I think it was in the 80s. Yeah, it was in the 80s. I looked to see if I could find any traces of it because it was really creepy. I just wanted to see it again. But I haven't. I have never been able to find it. In fact, not many people seem to remember it. But the creepy intermissions was really weird. Like, there was a part where they showed, and it was like, this guy was fishing, and he throws in his line, right? And all of a sudden, out of the lake, this apple just kind of flies out, plops down. The guy's looking around kind of weird. Picks up the apple, he checks it out. There's no lines, nothing attached to it or anything. So he's looking it over, it seems legit. He takes a bite out of it, and next thing you know, he's he's bleeding out of his mouth, and he's struggling, and it pulls, he goes flying into the water. And then after a moment of everything goes silent, like really, like you could hear a pin drop silent. And then out of the water, another apple flies out and goes bloop, bloop, bloop. And the camera zooms in on the apple, and then it stops. It was just, they didn't have a lot to work with. They didn't have the crazy, you know, CGI effects and stuff. But one thing that they did have was know-how. For what they did have, they were so very good at immersion. The movies of today could really stand to learn a lot from that. Because if they matched those tendencies with the CGI stuff they like to drown us in, we could have some phenomenal movies. But it really kind of makes me wonder if that isn't a deliberate thing on their part too. Like it's like a war against creativity. Because all we're getting deluged with for the most part, aside from a few solid hits, is just crap. Substanceless crap. They're not even trying. I've got all the Outer Limits. I want to get all the Tales of the Dark Side. Another good show. Yes, Amazing Stories was also good. In the early Amazing Stories, there was a certain writer that got his start that has a bit of a cult following. You would know him as H.P. Lovecraft. Well, hold on. Karen Black sounds familiar. Trilogy of Terror could be any number of things. I remember Creepshow. You're talking to a horror fan, so I've seen a lot of different stuff, including some of the B-movies like Puppet Masters, for instance, which I've seen some of the stuff like American Werewolf in London, The Howling, which number 4 was just weird. There was Troll, which if you ever want a really weird movie, Troll 2. Troll 2 is freaking... Like, the first one, okay, there's a bit of a sense to it. Troll 2 is not even really a sequel. It has the trolls in it, but that's about it. And there was a popcorn scene in that movie that you will never be able to unsee. Not to mention, the ending of that movie is just freaking whack. It is completely, utterly, and absolutely whacked out, the ending of that movie. An old school good one, House. Technically House 2. House 2 is a little strange, but House was also a good one. Like an interdimensional sort of rift that exists within the house. It's really weird. I'm trying to think of others because there was a few of them. Like there was Salem's Lot, which everybody knows. There was Return to Salem's Lot, which was weird. The Fog, which was another one of those that was kind of creepy in a good way. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is kind of a B movie. What else? What else? Oh. I mean, you're talking to somebody that is a big-time horror fan. Oh! We can't mention Creepshow or Tales from the Dark Side and forget about another time-honored classic that I also remember when it first came out. Tales from the Crypt. The frickin' Crypt Keeper, man. And I had already grown up, like I found the old comics, what was it, EC Comics, where they had like the Vault of Horror and of course Tales from the Crypt. The old school comics. But then they released it on HBO. You know, before they used to have a lot of creepy horror stuff, I think it was Cinemax. And then it became more like notorious for like really weird kind of cheesy porn flicks or something like that. But Killer Clowns had Christopher Titus? Really? I'm gonna have to go back and watch that now. I did not know that. Trauma Films, yes, Trauma Films. Toxic Avenger. But Tales from the Dark Side, or not Tales from the Dark Side, Tales from the Crypt. I remember Tales from the Crypt. crazy Santa Claus, among other things. Oh yeah. Like, we'd have A movies and we'd have B movies. Okay, horror movies, there you go, The Lost Boys. The Lost Boys. That made a couple of careers on that particular movie. And even, there was one that was considered more on the funny side, but it actually was a horror film as well. You might remember Rick Moranis starring in this one. Feed me, Seymour, feed me now. Levi Stubbs from the Four Tops, who also, interestingly enough, I believe he was the one that also played Mother Brain, the voice of Mother Brain, in the Saturday morning cartoon show Captain N and the Game Master. But he was Audrey 2 in the cult classic Little Shop of Horrors. Oh no! Actually, Little Shop of Horrors is a cult flick. The original was a black and white thing, and in it, the lovers both actually died at the end. There were a couple of different alternate endings of Little Shop of Horrors as well, but it was done with more of a kind of like a dark humor take to it when it came to the Rick Moranis version. And it wasn't just Rick Moranis, it was Steve Martin, John Belushi was in there. Oh, no, not John Belushi, I'm sorry, not John Belushi. John Candy. And Bill Murray. Bill Murray was in there. They had like an all-star cast. It was great. Little shop of horrors, little shop of terrors, watch 'em drop. Little shop of horrors, no, whoa. I can totally sing it, and I absolutely do from time to time. Something's watching you. Oh, The Blob. My first horror movie was Hellraiser. Clive Barker's Hellraiser. That actually did not scare me so much. What freaked me out was Freddy Krueger freaked me out. Like, Jason didn't freak me out. Michael Myers didn't freak me out. Although Halloween 2, Season of the Witch, I believe it was. That one kind of creeped me out. I had weird dreams about that one for like a week. But Freddy, man, holy crap, he was a mess. He was monstrous, and he had all the good lines. So you were kind of drawn in. And then the immersion of his little boiler room brawl. Yes, that was a deliberate Undertaker and Mankind reference. Both wrestlers of whom I have been big-time fans. And it sucks to no end that I will never be able to see a house show for The Undertaker. That is one of those things I always wanted to see and never got to see. But it is what it is. Everybody retires sometime. But the Lumbering Dead guys they didn't really mess with me much. Oh yeah, no, and if you haven't seen it, Hellraiser actually produced some comics, which introduced different Cenobites and stuff in there too. There's also What Happens to Kirsty, which is interesting, and What Happens to Pinhead, also interesting. Basically, consider what happens when Pinhead actually gets bored of his position and wants to leave. But in order to leave, he has to find a replacement. And that replacement, the only person he could think of, is Kirsty. And there is a group that is taken to trying to hunt down the Cenobites called the Harrowers. So again, I forget exactly who it is that makes it, but you can look it up on like Google or something like that, and you can pull up the Hellraiser comics. It's actually really neat. I really enjoyed them. Alright, well, it is a little bit after 1. I have to start getting myself ready. Oh, excuse me. I have to start getting myself ready for work. Because I've got a few hours out of that. So, I'm going to be calling this stream for the moment. I might stream later on in the evening when I get off work if I don't pass out. I probably will pass out, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And I will talk to you fancy folks later. I won't be streaming on my lunch this time around because, well, I only get like a 30-minute for that one. So I will talk to you wonderful folks later. Thank you all for stopping by. The stream will remain live for anybody that has missed it. And again, I may be... Darn it, Hacho! Every time! I know! Every time! Every time! It's like, now you were in for the Project Zomboid. And... then it's like a couple of different times I was streaming on here, and it's like, okay, I'm about to leave, then all of a sudden, there you go. And the only reason I gotta go in this case is because I gotta work in like a little bit, and I've got to make sure everything's set up for that. So, work for home being what it is. Otherwise, if it was one of those other usual days, I probably would have streamed beforehand, and then I'd like stream again like maybe 4 to 5-ish? I don't know. Yeah, 4 to 5-ish if it's any other day during the week, and I may stream later on in the evening. So I never know whenever everybody is, like in the morning or the daytime, etc. So yeah. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I gotta get going for work. Sorry guys, and sorry Miss Hacho, you're always awesome every time you're in here, and it's like, oh, every time I just barely miss you. Well, actually, no, we do miss you, just we barely miss your time frame. You know what I'm talking about. All right. Well, I will catch y'all folks later. I might stream again later, depending on what's looking like, at about we'll say 10:30. Central Standard Time. Give myself a little bit of time just in case if I don't pass out. I might be able to keep something going till like 12:30 and then go to sleep. I don't know. I might be able to stretch it out. We'll see. So, have a good one, folks. I hope the rest of your day in the meantime goes well. And again, if you're ever missing any of these streams, you can always go back and see what's happened before. There are links to Discord, and of course, because I'm being a proper little whore, the Patreon and GoFundMe you can see there. And if you're wondering what's up with that, again, like I said earlier in the stream, just go ahead and click the link. You will understand everything at that point. I assure you. Not as bad as you think. But big things are going down, so you'll want to click on those for mystery information to be revealed later. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And of course, if you have any topic links, or not topic links, topic ideas, stuff you want to talk about, feel free to drop a comment in there, and we'll see. I have no problem addressing it. I can pull it up on the next stream. So, have a good one. Take care. Thank you for showing up today. And yes, latest.